weeks out to rebuild these or just days? You said pull off shelves. What's a boiler?
9 weeks?
Well, those are pretty quick, they're like 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just that's quick unless it's the middle of the year.
In the middle of winter.
That's not quick.
One, I think you have almost through all the way through September to get them installed and operating, so.
Yeah.
I guess my question with the lighting would be that if we don't include it with this, do we have the finances then to work on replacing it outside of including it with the loan and stuff? Or is that something that we're just not going to replace?
I was looking at in my opinion, I was looking at the 10-year, maybe do it after that, but that extension may change my mind if that would fit into a payment plan that we could do.
Right.
That's a good point, yeah. That was my thinking, just to go after they, we don't have for sure on the other, so.
Yeah, my whole thing with the lights is they pay for themselves, so do it.
They what?
They pay for themselves, so do it. What's that?
Well, we could get somebody else to do it.
Yes.
That's-
Right. That we
Only
would,
one contractor put that out there.
The lighting, is that what you're saying? Yeah, so we work with a handful of different contractors that travel all over the US doing this, and so
Yeah.
we generally get pretty good pricing on that, just cause they come in, do an audit, and then they have guys that travel around, and that's all they do for a living. So I think they said it'll take them 5 days to do the whole building. So it's really quick, so there's some economy of scale on that you typically can't. An electrician doesn't wanna work with their arms all day up in the air, so these guys just kinda travel around, so there's, so that's how that process is built. To be honest, you guys, this is the best lighting price I've seen, in a long time, so, so I think you're right over $1 a square foot. We just did Wichita and it's $2 a square foot, so, I don't know why the pricing is where it is, but, just for perspective. And yes, you could do it internally, so I've had district and maintenance staff, when the light goes out, the summertime, you come through and do one classroom at a time and do that, and you'll get those savings as well. The biggest thing here is you do it in 5 days and you start to get those savings immediately. That's the biggest thing on the lighting side.
My thoughts would be to go ahead and do the base project with the deduct on there, wait on the boiler, wait on the gym, and then do the light upgrade. Cause if you could pull that out to 15 years, they got a 6.7-year payoff. That means 8.3 years of it, at $12,000 savings, so $103,000 over the 15-year note.
right.
So it's paying 10% of the project off
And that'll
by
escalate,
including the lights. So,
and that'll escalate over time. So this is just your utility bill today. So
Yeah.
that is likely to go up. That dollar amount is just kind of projected on today's utility bill basis.
by doing the lights with the 15-year, you're actually saving about 8 to 10% on the whole project.
As long as the day their warranty is up, they don't quit us.
Very dark day. But if you could get another 5 years out of the boiler, and then at the 10-year mark, refinancing that boiler in. Why not?
What's the fail on boilers typically? Is it like splitting open type thing, leaking, or
It's
is it
usually the tubes that start leaking.
the heat exchanger type
Yeah.
tubes?
Yep.
You and Brad have the same opinion, right?
Yeah,
And I agree with your opinion.
yeah,
My answer
I feel that way.
makes sense.
I feel that way too, North is that.
Anyone else?
So basically looking for a motion then, if there's no more at this point discussion, or is anybody else?
You wanna make it?
Yeah, I'm making a motion to accept the novice proposal of the base project with the deduct of the retrofit existing VAV boxes in lieu of replacing, and the LED lighting upgrade district-wide.
Does a term have to be applied to this? Like 15 years? Thoughts on that? Does anybody know?
So typically, you can come back next
Should do
month
that
and
later.
do a term on the next one.
Okay. Guess we're looking for a second then.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? 7-0. 6-0, who didn't vote for it? Everybody voted, right?
Sorry.
Okay,
I do that, sorry.
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Mrs. Sexton.
Are you guys? Okay, so I'm here to talk about the NRP neighborhood revitalization plan that we're trying to get organized. You guys should have got this information last time, but, okay. You guys' schedule last time, I didn't get to come in and talk. It'd be helpful if you had one. Okay. So, I'm not needing specifically any kind of, motion or anything like that. I'm just here to talk to you guys about what it is and, how it would affect you guys as a taxing entity. So a neighborhood revitalization plan is a tax rebate program based on the incremental increase, of a property increasing in value, okay? So I'm gonna go to the very back is the first one I'm gonna do. I've got the colored graph, so that's gonna be a little easier to see. But this will give you the best idea of what it is. Okay, and so I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit. So I'm talking to you guys because you guys receive tax funds, right? So the NRP is a countywide agreement. We're gonna try to get, the county, City of Sharon Springs, City of Wallace, and both school districts on board with this, okay? So nothing moves forward until we're all in some form of agreement. And then at the end of, I get some sort of agreement, then we'll hold a joint public hearing. We'll have a time for comments, and then we'll have a special meeting, where it actually gets approved. So like I said, this is just conversational, informative, and for you guys too. So what an NRP is, like I said, it's a rebate on the incremental increase of a property tax, okay? So I've got you 4 different examples. And again, so I am kind of the marketer of this, the pusher of this. I will, communicate it within the county, but at the end of the day, it runs through the appraiser's office. So Kim is the yes, no, and I'll try to give you my best information today. Okay, so, the back 4 pages, back 2 pages, front and back, give examples of what I'm talking about. Okay, so in this example, the front one is $150,000 home. You're gonna put $100,000 renovation into it. And so on my bar graph, I've got, I feel like I need to be presenting to you guys too. The orange bar is what your taxing entities are already getting, right? So this is a $150,000 home. This is what the property tax that's coming in off of that. I'm gonna try not to dumb it down too much, but I wanna make sure I'm explaining it well. So how you figure this dollar, it seems like this is a good point to talk about at a lot of places. So we've got $150,000. So I'm just gonna put it in my calculator. And so how you figure that is you're gonna take it, your residential property is valued at 11.5%. Your commercial is valued at 25%. Okay, so I'm gonna do 150 times 0.115. So then, if you can follow along, that gets your current assessed valuation, which is this column here. Okay, which is 17,250, okay? So then from 17,250, now you're gonna multiply it by your mill levy, which is currently, it can change, right? 246.462, and then you're gonna divide that by 1,000. Okay, so that gets you your $4,200, which is over here, okay? So that gets you kind of just how the math is working, right? And so that's your orange bar graph to start with. Okay, are you guys all looking at the right?
First one.
Yep, okay. So then,
Oh, that is not one yet.
sorry,
She said right back.
oh, sorry, yep. $150,000
Okay.
home. Okay, sorry. So then, on mine, it's the blue increase, so now, as the homeowner, you've put $100,000 into it. So now, your valuation has gone up, right? So what we're suggesting, this is an investment tool, an incentive tool to help incentivize growth in your community. We're saying, we're gonna rebate that property tax, that portion that's increased, right? So this is where you as a resident have to think about it different as you as a consumer of property tax, right, of taxes. So you are not gonna lose anything as far as funds to the county, funds to the city, funds to the school districts. But the homeowner, in this instance, we are suggesting a 95% rebate for 5 years on that increase. Does that kind of make sense? So then at the end of that 5 years, so at year 6, a property that was bringing into the county $4,200, at the year 6, it's now $9,400. So I've got 2 residential examples, and then I've got 2 business examples. We're suggesting, and again, I say we are suggesting because I have no skin in this. This is, I'm not on any of these boards. These are just, Kim is the county appraiser. Kim has written these for Scott County and for Gray County, and she feels like Scott County's is a little too aggressive. They do 10 years. So this is a medium. I'm told that 3 years is not enough to have a large impact. So I'm trying to find a middle ground to this that we can all agree to, because this is something that Wallace County has never done before. Okay, so you saw the small incremental increase on the, sorry, at the top it will say 150 with 100,000 renovation. So I know I turned to the back of that, and now I'm looking at a vacant lot, a vacant $10,000 lot, and we're gonna build a $300,000 home on it, okay? So again, you have to kind of think about this from 2 different sides. One, that you are an entity that receives tax funds, and from the other side, you are someone who potentially would wanna build a home, right? So this one, your value starts very low, right? You've got, this is the income to the county. It's very minimal. It's a vacant lot. We're saying it's valued at $10,000, and the county is receiving less than $300 annually for property tax and that. Okay, so again, suggesting a 5-year, 95%. The bar graph, I think, explains it really well, but your taxing entities are not losing any funds. We still have that at the top. And this spreadsheet is a little more complicated than I'm making it sound, because there is a property valuation trending at 6% and a discount rate at 8%. So you'll see that your orange bar actually, which is the property tax for you guys, is actually increasing a little bit. But neither here nor there. Again, the basics of it is the county would rebate, somebody built a $300,000 home, rebate 95% of that for 5 years. And again, it's a rebate. You pay your full property taxes. If you are in good standing at everything at the courthouse, then they will rebate you that 95%. So again, if you are the builder of a new home, this looks like maybe up to $44,000 that's added to your cash flow for the first 5 years. Follow? Yeah. And so when you go to a lending institution, that legitimately can make the cash flow work potentially, right? But from an organization that's receiving tax dollars, you are not losing anything for those 5 years of rebate. But in year 6, we've incentivized this build, we've incentivized this growth, and then in year 6, your vacant property that earned the county less than $300 now is earning $11,000 annually. Okay, and I'll be quick because I know you guys have already been here a while. Last 2 examples are very similar. There's the existing business with a $100,000 reno, and then I'm just gonna go to the very back page because I think the numbers are a little bit more extreme, or the graph is a little bit better picture. So again, you have a vacant property getting taxed this time. You're doing the math the exact same way, except for your valuation rate is at 20% instead of, I'm sorry, at 25% instead of 11.5%, but you're doing the math the same way. We're taking that vacant lot, we're $10,000, and now we're putting a $500,000 business there, okay? So a nice investment for the community, right? So for the business, the commercial side of the NRP, we are suggesting a stair step, a step down. So residential, we're suggesting 95% for 5 years, and at year 6, it's, you pay the full amount. For commercial, we're suggesting 100% rebate in year 1, right? So the idea, we're really trying, and this is my example, is a $500,000 business. It can be a $20,000 business. There is a level of, it has to be $15,000 is the increment that you have to reach to be able to access this. So you've got your new business came in, we're gonna give them the biggest advantage that we can. In year 1, we're gonna give them 100% tax rebate, property tax rebate in year 1. Okay, again, we're not changing what comes into the county. Year 2, it's 80, 60, 40, 20, and in year 6, you're paying your full property tax. Okay, so again, this is just a tool that we are allowed to use. Wallace County has never had, and this is a tool that surrounding areas have. And so I think it's just something we need to think about to be competitive as far as where people want to invest. What questions do you have for me?
Have you ran this by any existing businesses to see if they would do this?
So you guys are the last groups that I've talked to. So I county, city of Sharon, city of Wallace, and Weston school district. So I've talked to plenty of business people in those situations, outside of those not necessarily.
So they would do it?
Yeah, I got responses that maybe we weren't being aggressive enough from some people, which that's again can be part of the conversation. I was, meaning there's several years between 5 and 10. Kim's advice was, the county appraiser, Kim's advice was 10 years was too much. It's too long for the county before they see return from that investment. So I'm trying to find a happy medium of something that we can start with where we've never had it. The thing with this, it sunsets when it expires in 29, if we get it passed, right? It's done, and we have to all agree to a new one. It doesn't just roll over, so we do have the option to make it longer, to change it, make it more aggressive, less aggressive in the future.
So the rebate is coming from the county, coming from
Well, it's a bake rebate, right? You're just not paying it.
right, I mean,
So you do pay it.
You're paying it, but then you're getting it back.
Right. So you'll pay all of your property tax into the county based on whatever new valuation you have. If everything is in good standing, meaning you don't have any delinquent taxes, other places, etc., then they'll report what they need to the state and get it released to be able to rebate back to you.
but it's still a county funded rebate.
Yes. There is a map in here. So per statute there, an NRP is not supposed to be countywide. So we are kind of killing two birds with one stone here. There are 6 sections that are, Logan, or Winona School District, right? And so we are excluding those 6 sections of ground so that we, and we are not the only ones to do this sort of type of thing. So then we are allowable, because again, once we all agree at the local level to this, then it gets sent to, the state attorney general, and he has to sign off on it as well. So, so that's, we killed 2 birds with 1 stone there. We excluded those 6 sections. There is some language in here that says, if there's somebody who wants to build something within those 6 sections, they can approach us, and we just have to agree to, let them in.
So everybody agrees here, is the attorney general just send it through, or does he approve some, not approve some?
Well, I've never heard of him not approving one, but that doesn't mean it doesn't, I don't know. So from Kim's opinion, once we, agree to it locally, then she is fine with starting to accept applications. And it can take up to a couple months for the attorney general to, approve it. But she has enough confidence in the process that once we get it approved locally, she would start accepting applications. Yeah, so I said it at the very beginning, so what I'm needing from you guys is just feedback of whether this is something that you guys would support, whether you don't like it, what you do like about it. And then what I'm trying to get organized is a public hearing for the first week of June. I said you guys are my last one to circle back to. If that feels like we're pushing it too much, it doesn't have to happen then. But I've gotten good feedback from all the other locations thus far.
Just don't see how it changes anything here. I mean, like, I don't know why. I don't know why
Not
you
getting
need
into it, but
But I don't. It's all new to me, I haven't figured about this.
I can support it, moving forward with it.
anyone else? Thoughts?
It is a process that you have to apply for before you start construction. So I've gotten asked about, stuff that's being built or has been built, and, you cannot do this on past things that have been built. be turning the paperwork to Kim, ahead of construction. It's included in here, I believe, I included it. It's very simple, very intentionally very simple. It's, there you go, it's 2 pages, right? And basically gives, I'm sorry, it's 1 page, page 2 is when it's complete. But the idea of, you've already got a business established, no, you can't use that for something you already did, but if you do a remodel to that, you can. If you do a phase 2 to that, you can use this, right? If you build a house today and utilize it, and then put an addition on 2 years from now, you can have 2 separate NRP agreements going for both of those. Does that make sense? And some of that is written in here, but.
So the dollar amount isn't set, right? Like, if you wanna do an $80,000 remodel, you can do that.
Yeah, so this is where Kim will use her expertise on valuations. So, it's written in here that it has to be at least a $15,000, investment into the property. There are certain things that she's not gonna allow, like probably fencing or, you know, like a small deck or, you know, she's got an understanding of what things are gonna be valued at. Because again, the intention is that long-term, it's going to increase, the property, right? It's gonna increase the property values that we have here in the county.
I guess would everybody be interested in our meeting to learn more?
We go to this, do we vote as a board?
Yeah, so, and this is probably where Etta has more information than I do, but, so I'm working with the county attorney, so Charles Mosier. So, my understanding, which again, I'm the communicator here, not always the, you know, the one that has all the facts, but my understanding is we'll do a public hearing, so I have to advertise it with Lace for 2 consecutive weeks prior to it. So I'm looking at June 4th, it's a Wednesday. I'd ask for you guys to have a quorum there, it doesn't have to have everybody, but it does have to have a quorum. We would do, if you are agreeable to it, we'd do a joint public hearing, and then followed by a joint, followed by a special meeting. You guys can choose whether you would like to run your own special meeting. And then in that special meeting, the request is to, present and hopefully approve both the NRP agreement and there'd be an interlocal agreement that I'm working with Charles on, that just basically say y'all agree to work together on it.
What you're looking for now is a quorum that will go and say go. Is that right?
Yeah, so conversation, and then if you guys feel like.
Well, you don't want us to go and not do it, right?
Well.
You need us all to do this, right?
That's why I'm trying to do a lot of, conversating with you guys ahead of time, so that we don't get to a public hearing situation and have a bad situation, so. Or get to our special meeting and we're not in a position where we're ready to pass it, so. I don't need anything specifically from you tonight, but that is where I'm at, and I will follow up with Christie about, I guess Ross, I don't know, you guys tell me who I need to follow up with as far as, if you guys are okay with the joint public hearing.
I know that I will not be here that day.
Okay,
I feel like I might come too, but what name is that?
it's a Wednesday.
Oh, I think it's 6, I think I'll be here.
So we are just kind of picking at a calendar and trying to, you know, try it, cause I know there's a lot of people to organize. We can do this all separately, just for the sake of my sanity and everybody else's sanity. I'd love to try to do it.
You say you're not looking for something out of us tonight specifically, but if we don't give you something tonight, would we have to have a special board meeting prior to this to give you something, or?
She just wants to know if you're gonna show up.
Is there gonna be a quorum that shows up to?
To say yay.
You're right.
You guys know better than I do. I think you just, however you call a special meeting is what you. Right.
So I guess,
But it would just be for that, not for, you don't have to have an answer prior to that. You kinda want to know if it's positive.
I haven't
Well,
got a
I guess-
motion from anybody else,
Okay.
but if I need to get one tonight, sounds great.
Well, no, my thought is, as long as there's not more different information presented, you know, or something like that, you know, then.
Yeah, so there are slight language modifications to this that Charles has presented, but it doesn't change the detail in it, and I will get the final draft to Ross and Christie of this and the interlocal agreement prior to the special meeting. Okay,
okay,
thanks guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2, accept position.
Mr. President, I was able to, interview a candidate for the daycare director position. And would like to recommend Sarah Kling to fill that position.
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Sarah Klein as the daycare director.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? 6-0? Or 7-0? Old, 3 months ago. 7-0. What? All right, number 3, moving on, resignations.
Mr. President, I would, like to recommend that the board, accept the resignation of Nancy Schmidt.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move to accept the resignation of Nancy Schmidt.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Mr. President, I would like to, recommend the resignation of Hal Fry.
Do we have a motion for the resignation of Hal Fry?
I'll move that we accept the resignation of Hal Fry.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? All opposed? 6-1, Brad opposed.
Mr. President, I'd like to recommend the resignation of student council sponsor Rebecca Edwards for the student council position.
Do we have a motion? For effective resignation of student council.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation.
I'll second that. All in favor? 7-0. Alright, does anybody need a break?
Yes, please.
Okay. 5-minute recess.